everything that lives is designed to end.
Narration. Ask me if I feel proud about that pun. The answer is yes.
I often think about the god who blessed us with this cryptic puzzle, and wonder if we'll ever have the chance to kill him.
If the developers of this game wanted to prove that they read Nietzsche, they succeeded 2 seconds ago. But like everyone else who reads Nietzsche, they had to keep dropping the philosophy lines to prove how smart they are. I should know. I keep my copy of Thus Spoke Zarathustra on the shelf right next to my copy of Atlas Shrugged. They tried so hard to sound deep, then immediately followed up with a bullet hell segment with sexy androids and panty shots. Philosophy and fan service do not go well together. They just don't. I'm just going to get this question out of the way. Is there any logical reason for the blindfolds all the androids wear other than Emil wearing one in the first game? I'm probably expecting answers to questions that don't have any, but why is 2B wearing a gothic Lolita sheer dress with heels during combat? I'm starting to think this game isn't set in reality.
Activating short-range attack gear.
In other words, swords. Finally, a person who knows how to properly get out of the way of a large circular object coming toward them.
Better make sure he's actually dead next time.
The giant buzzsaw didn't even fake being dead. It rose up in the air for an overhead smash without ever appearing to be disabled.
Emotions are prohibited.
Sorry, ma'am.
Instead of prohibiting emotions in androids, wouldn't it be more effective to make them without emotions? Why give them something they are not allowed to use?
9S!
9S survives this.
The subject's vital signs are too poor to attempt field repair in
Shut up!
current...
Just do what I say!
Didn't take 2B that long to start violating that whole emotions are prohibited rule. Both of these androids know that their data and memories are backed up on a server in space, and if they get destroyed, they will receive new bodies. Yet they milk these final moments for all it's worth without ever saying, hey, you know, we can't actually die. This makes Twice Platinum has had a boss fight where you have to use a giant robot's own arm to destroy it. Granted, this time it is believable. These other 3 Goliaths were just sitting around waiting for 2B to kill the first Goliath before getting involved.
2B. It was an honor to fight with you. Truly.
And you both know that you will be fighting alongside each other again in short order. You know very well that you are not going to die here. Detonating their black box is so effective at destroying robots that I'm surprised they don't just start off with that instead of trying to kill robots with swords. I feel that anytime I point something out in this game by asking a question, the answer is always going to be just because. For instance, why is the bunker always in black and white? Just because.
Thank you for uploading my data to the bunker.
I did that? Sorry, I don't remember. There wasn't a whole lot of bandwidth down there, you know? I probably only had enough time to back up your memories. Mine are only intact up to the point just before we rendezvoused.
And yet you can remember 2B even though your memories were only backed up to just before meeting her.
Glory to mankind.
That's the least casual way of covering up the boob window in your dress that I've ever witnessed.
5012 AD. The year mankind's glorious history came to a sudden and abrupt end.
Your HA androids are made to fight robots for humanity. I don't think you need to narrate their mission goal and history to them. It's probably hard-coded into their system.
The world was invaded by aliens from beyond the stars. The aliens unleashed a new breed of weapon, machine life forms, that all but annihilated human civilization.
They're kind of glossing over the parts about a giant stone goddess from another universe appearing in Tokyo, being destroyed by a dragonette's rider, and then the ashes from the goddess infecting humans with a virus. Then humans separating their souls from their bodies and creating new bodies that would be resistant to the virus that they would then inhabit, but then the new bodies formed their own consciousness before they could, and then they added an alien invasion and robot apocalypse somewhere in between games for good measure. You kind of have to though, otherwise none of this would make any sense. This game never explains why the aliens decided to attack humanity or why they made robots to do it for them. In fact, this ends up becoming a plot hole, because humans were already extinct before the aliens showed up, and the aliens made the robots to kill humans.
The handful of survivors that remained fled from Earth, seeking refuge on the moon.
If the aliens were able to make their way to Earth, why would humans hiding on the moon be a problem for them? What would actually stop the aliens from launching another attack on the moon?
That is why you, the Yorha forces, exist. To break this stalemate, once and for all.
And you already know all of this. We just thought you might need a reminder. That is not something you are going to want to re-enter atmosphere in. It's not even airtight, and the heat would melt it and the android inside into slag. Before anyone accuses me of being a prude, I'll have you know that I don't mind some TNA in my game. But if I have to close my window blinds before I play, I at least expect an explanation for it. 2B losing her dress whenever she self-destructs instead of her entire body being destroyed is just emergency fan service. For whatever reason, there are data upload stations and body switching terminals inside the local vending machines. Ironically, you can't get any delicious chips out of them.
Well, I'm sure my people will have plenty of of information for you.
But only after doing a meaningless collection of quests for each of them. We just came from a city overgrown with trees right next to the ocean and a forest. Yet right next to it is a Sahara-looking desert. I understand you have to compress geography to make for an interesting open-world game, but you can see the line where the forest ends and the desert begins. This scene of a giant robot orgy is what we in the writing business call taking the good drugs. This scene where the robots form a cocoon with their own bodies and birth a naked man-child is what we in the writing business call taking all of the drugs. I'm not sure why I'm disappointed that this guy has no genitals.
An android?
No! This is a machine!
How can you tell? He looks exactly like an android. An android is defined as an intelligent machine that looks and acts like a human. This guy fits the bill as much as you do. He survives this and gives birth to his own brother as well. I feel like I entered a Kingdom Hearts level. Fighting on top of a roller coaster is awesome. Physics be damned. I may not understand most of this game, but I can still tell that it's being creative as hell with the game design and boss fights.
It's almost like it had actual emotion.
The machines don't have feelings.
Why would you believe that though? Both of you are androids, meaning you are machines and you have feelings. Why can't the alien machines have them too? In fact, I'm not sure how you can even recognize feelings, since none of you have ever met a human before.
So why don't the machines, or the aliens who created them, attack the bunker directly? They originally came here from outer space, right?
Well, there are a few theories about that, but no one knows for sure. Hard to tell what an alien is thinking, you know?
And the devs couldn't write themselves out of that plot hole, so they just threw a lampshade over it and hoped you didn't think too much about it.
We are not your enemies.
2B! We can't trust anything the machines say!
After being presented with a theme park full of peaceful robots and now a village full of white flag waving robots, NieR still insists that machines can't be trusted and can't have feelings. I'm pretty certain this is exactly what Yoko Taro was thinking when he wrote this game.
Now do you believe we're not a threat?
Your mouth can say anything it wants, but you still don't have a heart.
Neither do you. You just look human, but you're just as much a machine inside as them. The last time 2B and NieR had to fight multiple Goliaths, they had to detonate their black boxes to stop them. Now killing 2 of them is a piece of cake.
Unbelievable. The aliens who haven't revealed themselves in hundreds of years were hiding underground?
If your scanners are so good at detecting aliens as soon as there is any kind of signal, then you should have deduced this a long time ago by the lack of detectable signals, since if they were above ground, detecting them should have been trivial. The long-dead aliens look suspiciously like the aliens from Metal Slug.
Relax, Eve. We're still negotiating here. My name is Adam.
Biblical naming cliche.
The aliens you seek are no longer here. They were wiped out centuries ago. By us. The machines.
It's at this point that I have to start questioning the intelligence of the androids. They've been fighting an enemy that they haven't actually seen for centuries, all for humanity, who they also haven't seen in centuries. And none of the androids have ever questioned this.
Assist you with what?
It's simple. We need you to locate the humans on the moon and bring them to us. We will then dissect and analyze them in order to drag their secrets forth into the light.
Bring us the humans you are programmed to serve and protect so we can dissect them. Yeah, that'll work. For those of you that played the original NieR, enjoy your Emil cameo. For those of you who haven't, you are pretty much screwed. There is no way to easily explain any of this guy that wouldn't take multiple paragraphs. Robot babies. It even has a metal pacifier. Earlier I asked why 2B always wears a sheer dress, so I also have to ask why A2 wears lingerie. Regardless of the answer, I don't think I would want my mom walking in on me playing this game.
Why did you betray us?
Command is the one that betrayed you.
And I could expound on that, but I won't.
But there's something we want to ask you about.
Of course. Anything.
Actually, it needs to be in person.
No, it really doesn't.
It'll be faster if you just take a look at this recording.
I see.
It's only faster because you played it at around 300 frames per second. It would have been just as fast to ask Pascal if he knows anything about A2. I'm finding it difficult to understand Yorha's military strategy. They operate out of a space station, yet also have an aircraft carrier which is completely pointless to them, since their flight units take off and land vertically and are capable of space travel.
I'm still picking up a large enemy presence.
Didn't I kill that already?
What on? If it's that big, we should be able to see it.
NieR doesn't understand how oceans work or that large things can hide beneath the surface.
We've got mortars lining the shoreline here.
Even though NieR calls this a mortar, it's actually a railgun. I can buy Pascal catching 2B after she was sent flying, but what I can't buy are those 3 robots who managed to attach ropes to NieR to catch him. 2B survives this.
2B. 9S. Don't die on me.
Again, they can't die. Their memories would just be uploaded into new bodies. The worst that can happen is they lose the last few minutes of their memories. 2B had to return to the Resistance base to get a black box scanner to help her find injured androids. She then returns to the flooded city where she woke up after the attack and uses the scanner to find a Yorha android to question, meaning she didn't need the scanner. She could have spent 5 minutes looking around the area to find this person and question her about 9S.
That explosion sent him flying.
Which direction?
Hard to say. I'll take my best guess at a landing spot.
Her best guess at a landing site just happens to be correct. An impressive feat considering she was caught in the same explosion 9S was, and 9S was sent flying well out of her range of vision. Want to know how to save on your art budget? Just make the whole level without textures and call it artistic choice. Adam is clearly a Minecraft hacker.
We machines exist in a connected network. We are immortal, invincible. Death, even the concept of death, has no meaning to us.
This statement will prove to be incredibly wrong, because not only will Eve lose his cool once Adam dies, there are plenty of other examples of machines fully comprehending death and being affected by it. Not content with having characters named Adam and Eve, they threw in a crucifixion as well. When you look at the timeline of events for the NieR series, you have to wonder why the machines would be so interested in humans. Humans had already gone extinct by the time the aliens showed up. They've never even seen a human. Was this really necessary to understand humans and death? 2B still has her own connection to a network that makes her basically immortal, yet she doesn't need to do anything to learn about mortality and humans. Despite this being an open world game, it has around 5 different locations and it has you go back and forth between them multiple times. This is the third time I've had to return to Pascal's village, and Pascal will then have 2B accompany her back to the factory, which is where the game started.
We as well shall become as gods. Become as gods. We as well shall become as gods. Become as gods. All of you shall become as gods. Become as gods. All of you shall become as gods. Become as gods.
Satan has spoken to me before, but never in this way. This boss will get recycled and used again in just a few minutes, and once more for the second to last boss in the game. You know that your flight unit is fully armed, right? You don't have to crash it into the robot. You have missiles.
I know you two feel the same. That this world is utterly meaningless.
Well, I'd say confusing, but meaningless sleeps in the same bed as confusing, so it's all the same.
As far as I'm concerned, my brother was everything.
You knew your brother for a day. Hell, your brother believed robots like yourself can't even comprehend death. Does Platinum know how to make a boss fight or what? Shouldn't Eve still be immortal? He never disconnected himself from the machine network like Adam did, so Eve should come back from this.
Finally. It's over.
Nope, there's still 2 more playthroughs. 2B has to kill 9S because he was infected with a logic virus while hacking Eve. However, her method of killing him is strangulation. The guy is an android. I don't think he breathes air. Androids are exposed to the vacuum of space every time they leave the bunker after all. Androids can cry. Is there any real difference between an android and a human?
It looks like I left my personal data in the machine side of things. Next thing I knew, my sense of self was regenerated over the surrounding network.
Oh. Nice way to waste what was a well-crafted and emotional death scene game. It's at this point you have to play through the entire game again, only this time from 9S's perspective. There's only a few differences between his playthrough and 2B's, so those differences are what I'm going to be sending next. Otherwise, I would just be sending the same moments again, and damn if I wasn't tempted to do that. This scene of one robot calling a dead robot brother and trying to revive it would be a clever foreshadowing of Adam and Eve. However, I've already killed both of them in the previous playthrough, so foreshadowing something I already know is going to happen strikes me as a bit pointless. There are a lot of joke endings you can get in this game. I don't really mind them, but I got this one twice by accident because all you have to do is walk in the wrong direction at the start of 9S's campaign.
We'll need you to take down the enemy's defense systems to give our attack squadron a chance. You have 4 targets that need to be hacked.
Yeah.
9S complains about the mission design so much that I'm convinced he's speaking for the developers who knew better. All throughout 9S's campaign are these segments that show you that the bosses you were fighting were actually just misunderstood. It's supposed to be deep, but it's actually just annoying. Just imagine if you were watching The Matrix and every once in a while they stopped everything to show you some pages from a child's pop-up book. Enough, Yoko Taro. You've got 2 different types of bullet hell shooters in this game, an open world action game, and now you've added in text adventures. The developer said, have Eve eating an apple. It'll fulfill a loaded and overused story cliche, and make him look like an asshole. And while you're at it, have him wear a diaper. Let's just say we're aiming for the fetish market.
The records claim humans covered their crotches as they went about their business. Revealing one's genitals was seen as problematic.
But you don't have genitals. That was the main thing I took away from your introduction.
But once we're done, can we play together for a bit?
Fine.
Oh, great. Then I'll eat lots of fruit.
I cannot believe this scene is actually real. I've seen so much stuff over the past 3 years that I'm honestly surprised when something like this comes along. Can we have Suda51 and Yoko Taro collaborate on a game by any chance? I feel like that would be the game that I could retire this series on. There is no explanation why these cutscenes play during 9S's playthrough. It would be one thing if 9S was seeing these through hacking robots, but these just start playing whenever you cross a threshold, and 9S doesn't even remark on them, leaving me to believe he isn't aware of them. And these are solely for a horror benefit to give backstory on the enemies we're fighting during 2B's playthrough.
His Majesty, he's dead. The king who gave all for us.
This crap is like a high school play where the kids have to narrate every single action and thought.
We placed His Majesty's memory, his final memento, into this tiny child.
But why? You could have placed the Forest King into any body you wanted, and why does the body even matter? Shouldn't the Forest King still have the same intelligence he had in his old body? If this is how this works, shouldn't 2B and 9S regress to children when they are put in new bodies? Nothing that I just saw explains why A2 singled out the Forest King for death. Yeah, she hates machines, but there's no shortage of them. Why go after a harmless one?
My name? Eve? This book says it's a woman's name. Shouldn't we be called Cain and Abel or something instead?
No, that would be a completely different yet equally lazy cliche. Somehow 9S survives riding the missile right into the Leviathan's mouth. This is like Major Kong surviving his ride on the A-bomb in Dr. Strangelove. I'm not sure if this game is accusing me or 9S of wanting to sleep with 2B. Probably both. Here's my biggest issue with NieR. 9S's playthrough is almost identical to 2B's because they were together for most of it. It only differs at the beginning and finale when they are separated. And even then, all 9S does are bullet hell shooters in a brief segment where he takes control of robot cultists. There is nothing revealed during 9S's part that couldn't have been revealed during 2B's.
Mankind no longer exists. In truth, humans never went to the moon at all. Any transmissions received from the moon are just dummy signals we set up in advance.
2B is secretly assigned to kill 9S every time he learns the truth about humanity being extinct, and she's done it multiple times already. So the commander being upfront with the truth makes no sense when she was the one who assigned 2B to kill 9S for this very reason.
Our battle will continue for some time to come. But that's another story. For another day.
Or a third playthrough.
We've confirmed that the network core units known as Adam and Eve have been destroyed. The enemy's chain of command has been thrown into complete chaos. As such, humanity has chosen to seize this opportunity and launch an all-out attack against the machine forces.
This entire war against the machines is a sham Yorha came up with to trick androids into believing humanity still exists. Also, androids can keep a sense of purpose. But if you actually win the war and wipe out the machines, the lie that humans are on the moon would quickly unravel and you would have the same problem. They had actual combat gear for androids to wear, and 2B wore a cosplay costume the entire time.
Is this a wide area virus?
If there was an area of effect virus infecting the androids, you would be infected too since you are an android and in the same area.
Log data upload complete.
The last time you did an emergency data upload of memories to the server, you only had time to upload 2B's. Under these circumstances, you had even less time and managed to upload both yours and 2B's memories to the bunker before self-destructing to destroy the infected androids.
What are you talking about? None of our ground units reported anything about a virus.
That's because all communication with the bunker has been severed.
Which you should already be aware of. This is a major military operation, so not being able to contact any ground units should be a big deal. The commander, 9S, and 2B are all infected with the same virus now, since the virus infects anyone who syncs their data to the Yorha server. Yet none of them are taken over by the virus right away like the others were. The commander takes a few more minutes. 2B gets all the way back to Earth before she's infected, and 9S takes 2 weeks. After 15 hours of prologue, the actual game now begins.
I have to keep it from spreading to other androids. Pod, give me a location that's low on android signals.
Well, the area you are in has 0 androids, so I think a forced march all the way to the forest so you can die without hurting other androids is unnecessary. This section should come with a seizure warning. Shouldn't A2 be infected with the virus now? The whole reason 2B dragged herself out here was so that she wouldn't infect anyone else.
These are my memories. Take care of everyone for me.
Yes, perfect stranger who I've only met one time and tried to kill. I trust everything to you. Here's a question Yoko Taro should have asked himself. Why doesn't 9S's pod, which is in direct contact with 2B's pod that she handed over to A2, just tell 9S that 2B was infected with a logic virus and asked A2 to kill her after transferring her memories to A2? That would clear up this whole misunderstanding. The pods even discuss 9S's deteriorating mental state, but they never once bring up the idea of setting the record straight for him. This bridge was destroyed by the tower emerging from the ground. After the cutscene ends, it's still there. A2 somehow manages to wear even less clothing than 2B. After that honestly amazing setup of 2B dying and leaving her mission to A2, your first task as her is to go into the desert and kill a robot centipede that has no connection to anything.
You and I are the same.
You and I are the same cliché, though in this game's defense, she has a good point. If you're wondering who Devila and Papala are, they were villains in the previous game. In this game, they're new characters with the same names and look, and are programmed to feel guilty for the things their predecessors did. This game doesn't really give you the important details, which leads you to wondering what these two are all about and never getting a good answer.
A little thank you for saving your butt would be nice.
He fell into a canyon. How the hell did you find him or even know to go rescue him?
Kill me. Do it. Kill me.
This new Daft Punk song really needs some work.
All this goddamn sand is starting to piss me off.
I can imagine, you're wearing stilettos in the desert. Hell, how do you even sand surf in those things?
Fuel filter performance deteriorating. Fine particulate matter seems to have entered the filter while fighting in the desert.
I don't see any filter ports on A2's body, so I can only assume where the sand could get in. If Pascal can fly, he should have done that when he was being attacked rather than wait for someone to save him.
I'll make a filter right away. Please just give me one moment.
He
can fly.
You saw him do that earlier.
It seems this Nietzsche was quite the profound thinker. Or perhaps he skipped right past profound and went straight to crazy instead.
The same can be said about this game and its creator, zombies. Even robots can escape that particular trope.
Are the children all right?
I've taken them to the abandoned factory.
Let me get this straight. You took the robot children to the factory that was previously the site of a mass suicide by cultist robots? What could possibly go wrong? Is there a particular reason the robots are fielding an army this size to wipe out a dozen robot kids hiding inside a factory? There's nothing at all special about them.
They killed themselves.
This is just an idea, but maybe you shouldn't have given all the children swords with which they could kill themselves with. Also, you shouldn't have taken them to a place where a mass suicide happened.
I cannot live with this heartbreak inside me. I need you. I need you to delete my memories. And if not, then I need you to kill me.
Even I have to admit this is one of the most conflicting moments I've ever had in a game. Bravo.
No, don't. Don't do this!
If the virus just deleted all of 9S's memories, shouldn't he forget about 2B and A2 and his mission to kill all the machines? After that line from Adam about 9S wanting to nail 2B, this scene takes on a seriously uncomfortable tone. I'm honestly surprised with this level of subtle storytelling. In fact, it's making me uncomfortable with the amount of sins I have to reverse.
His mental state has become dangerously unstable. Action must be taken immediately.
And by that I mean not telling him why A2 killed 2B. A2 has a knack for always killing someone in front of 9S. This scenario represents 100% of their scenes together. 9S being forcibly removed from a scene with A2 also happens way too often. They could at least come up with something other than 9S falling.
9S? We've been expecting you.
I call this the red herring greeting. It really helps with making people believe you're enemies right before you attack the person behind them.
Devil and I, we have to atone for our sins no matter what!
This game really expects you've played the first NieR, because it does not waste any part of the cutscene budget developing these two or explaining anything about them. Instead, it gives you a 15-minute text adventure about them after they sacrifice themselves to help 9S get into the tower. Thanks for the memories, I guess. 9S survives this. All the information is in the middle of the book cliché.
We'll reveal it once you destroy all the machine life forms here.
You couldn't have a more Deus Ex Machina character if you tried, and I think that's actually what they were going for. Just a voiceover of the machine network handing out answers.
Your attack is meaningless. Your existence is meaningless.
You say that, yet you still went to all the trouble of bringing him here, attempting to drive him crazy, and now you're bothering to explain things to him. That is a lot of work for someone who's meaningless. I tried my hardest to find something to send here, but I've got nothing. This finale is badass.
This tower is a giant cannon that's aimed at the human server on the moon. If we don't do something, all of humanity's remaining data will be destroyed.
That moon server you're so worried about was invented to give us androids something to fight for. And Yorha was created to perpetuate the lie. But in order to make sure no one ever learned the truth, we were designed to be killed.
There was not a lot of rhyme and reason in Yorha's plan. They faked the existence of humanity to boost the morale of androids by forcing them to fight an endless war, and then set things up so Yorha would be destroyed once it reached a certain stage. Eventually, the remaining androids are going to figure things out and lose their reason for existing. Well, there you have it. 9S kills A2, then accidentally falls on her sword while killing her. I can think of multiple ways for these two to kill each other that are better than this. I was under the impression that they didn't have any blood since they're androids. Just look at 9S after his limbs are torn off. Not a drop of blood to be found. He's just mechanical parts inside. You have to fight the goddamn end credits as the final boss. I don't know how a finale can keep continuously topping itself like this, but somehow I did it.
Everything that lives is designed to end.
Narration. I still feel proud about that one.
Selecting this option enables you to save someone somewhere in the world. However, in exchange, you will lose all of your save data. Do you still wish to rescue someone? A total stranger, in spite of this?
Sure, I guess. Wait, it's not gonna be that Game Care Network guy, is it?
It seems this Nietzsche was quite the profound thinker.